all of us. And I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community.
Talking about Loud Cry International, we want to shift this conversation and get some perspective on the recent mass shooting that happened. It's not considered a mass shooting because you need to at least have 4 victims to have a mass shooting, but this is a school shooting. But it's still terrible. This has made the news. A lot of people are talking about it. Some have politicized the whole content. But I really want to hear from you guys. Like, why is this happening? And at the degree that it is happening in the United States. I know there's mass shootings happening in different parts of the world, but we are like at the highest level. I just want to hear your thought on this situation here. And does it seem to you that they're targeting Christian schools to a degree? I don't know. How do you look at that? I just want to hear your thought on this mass shooting.
No, what it is, there's a couple reasons it's happening. One is it's meant to create instability in this country. This country has had a lot of stability, but in order for prophecy to be fulfilled, this country is going to largely, at some point, have to have mass instability. We understand there will be a civil war of some sort coming. It's come straight from the pen of inspiration. So we see a polarization of two sides. We've seen this for the past few years, and it's still there. We don't, just because they change presidents or whatever, the polarization has not changed. It's, if anything, it's even increased. So that's one aspect right there, is creating a climate of instability. Now, the reasoning you have targeting Christian schools, you have just a viral hatred for anything that even says Jesus, even if it is fully of Jesus or not. And some of these people, they're mentally ill, and they're being allowed to be manipulated by the enemy to do what he wants to do. Satan's orchestrating all this. Let's get right to it. Cut back everything back. Satan is orchestrator of this death, this chaos, all of this.
How much of a role do you think the media plays in this?
Oh, they're fueling the fire.
You think so too?
Oh, they're pouring gasoline on. They are pouring gasoline onto this. Absolutely.
All right. Sister Sheldon, I want to hear your thoughts as well.
Yeah, so first I want to take us back to Matthew 24, then I'll share some thoughts and comments about the their other question about the media. So in Matthew 24:6, you can pull it up if you'd like. In Matthew 24, verse 6, Christ talks about, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Now, when we think of wars and rumors of wars, right? The war it could be not just the war that we see with soldiers. It goes beyond that as well. There's a war on religion, war on ideologies. We see this all the time. The whole thing with the King of North, King of the South. But furthermore, just to address your question about the media, this could also set the stage, because oftentimes Adventists are often say that they hate Catholics because of the teachings, right? Our teachings in the Revelation about the mark of the beast and so forth. There's a push that there's an attack. Notice it says Catholic, but it's not just church. There's an attack on Christianity altogether. We see this. This is nothing new. But now we're seeing even on attacks on Catholics as well, a Catholic institution. This could also very well set the stage, right? So some may think that there's anti-Catholic sentiments and so forth. Now, we're not attacking Catholic people, right? It's the teachings itself. Now, one could shift it towards, at the end time, I'm just saying, could set the stage for that, just the thought, right? When you see these things happening, do you see like the pattern of Sabbath attacks and so forth? It's the media is setting the stage for that. And that's what we're noticing. I just this morning, my husband and I were talking and discussing this very thing that you just brought up about the shooting at the Catholic. First off, we want to say our condolences to those whose lives have been affected during this, but it's also an eye opener on the wars and the attacks, and it's bigger than what we see. It's really bigger than what we see that's happening.
Yeah. There is also another theory out there. I want to hear. All right, let me share with you, because the FBI was saying that they have no idea what the motive of the shooter is. And I was going to quickly play this video, because I think in this video, I like these guys. It seems like they don't sugarcoat the truth. If it's coming from the left or the right, they just address it. So yeah,
Yes.
I think redacted is fair. The left does it, they address it. Right does it, they just. It seems like they're more balanced than most news that I've actually listened to. So they're talking about this, and I want you to see what they do with this. And just about a few minutes in.
All right. Well, we got a lot of information flowing in right now on the Minnesota shooter. This morning, a horrific, absolutely senseless act of violence unfolded at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. And while the corporate media is, of course, scrambling right now to hide the facts, we have the truth. And here's what we know at this hour. So while children were in morning mass praying, this man is a biological man who now was pretending to be a woman, identified his sources as a transgender man using the name Robin Westman. He was formerly Robert Westman, opened fire on the church and school during a morning mass, killing 2 innocent children and injuring 17 others. A couple of these children who are in the hospital right now in critical condition. So unfortunately, that number might change. And then in a final act of cowardice, the shooter then took his own life right in the middle of the church, and he planned it that way. He knew exactly where he was going to go. He knew this church well. In fact, he had a map of it. He'd drawn a map of exactly where he would be with the pews and where he was going to take his own life. And he released a video in the video showing exactly where he was going to do it. Using this knife, he slammed it right into the notebook to show the spot where he was going to take his own life after he mowed down the children. Again, he knew this church well because it turns out his mom worked there for years, and she had recently retired. Here was her going away announcement from the Church of Annunciation. On Sunday, we honored Mary Grace Westman, who's retiring from the Annunciation Church. She's been there for years. Congratulations on your retirement. Now, she retired a few years ago, and she allowed her son, while he was a minor, to change his name legally from Robert to Robin, according to the court records that are now public, which you can, of course, see for yourself. There, you see her name right there at the top, Mary Grace Westman. And allowing him to change his name to Robin Westman, because, again, he was a minor at the time. He was 17 years old at the time, so this was allowed. But let's listen to the police chief earlier today describing the scene and what they found.
Police officers from the Minneapolis Police Department immediately responded, entered the church, and attempted to provide first aid and rescue some of the children that were hiding throughout the building. While other first responders came and EMS responded to rush victims to nearby hospitals. 2 young children, ages 8 and 10, were killed where they sat in the pews.
Of course, the mainstream media and the police would normally hide the identity of the shooter if it doesn't fit their narrative, especially if it's in a liberal city like Minneapolis. But this time they couldn't because it got all over social media ahead of time. So this is the shooter that turns out to be a transgender male. Just before the shooting, Robert or Robin posted a ranting video on YouTube, seemingly like possessed by demons or something, rambling about having bugs under his skin. This is some kind of bizarre, unhinged behavior the legacy media always seems to sweep under the rug. Oh, it's a trans person with mental issues, probably on some kind of hormones and all sorts of drugs, who knows? And they're saying that they've got bugs under their skin and they're ranting and raving. We're going to hide that because it doesn't fit our liberal narrative with the trans agenda. So immediately they jumped into action, though, and they certainly jumped in they tried to hide it as quickly as they could because they deleted all of his social media. All of his social media was scrubbed across multiple platforms, including YouTube, immediately scrubbed it, wiped his whole channel down, so that video was gone. But it's kind of amazing to me because some of the things that were said in that video, I mean, if we were to put that kind of stuff on our channel, we would immediately be flagged for it. But I don't know how YouTube allowed this channel to be up there with him talking about basically killing Donald Trump and worse and all sorts of other stuff. But they let that go until I guess everyone jumped on it and realized that he had a YouTube channel, and then YouTube scrubbed it. YouTube did remove the video, so we're not going to show it to you here. He posted 2 videos. You can see them all over X if you want to watch it, but we're not going to do it here because YouTube has already taken it down. But we can show you some still images here in a moment. But the details get even more outrageous because the shooter had an ammo magazine with the words "Kill Donald Trump" scrawled on it. Another said "For the children," ha ha ha. You can see here, ha 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 ha. That's funny. And in the video, he's just like laughing about killing the children. We can also confirm that he had a target on the wall with the face of Jesus Christ on top, and a target. Clearly intention to kill Catholics, to kill Christians, to kill children. That was his goal, right on a target in his room. Like, what more of an example do you need? You have ammunition. You're laying out exactly what you're going to do. Jesus Christ is up on a target on the wall. You've got children written on your ammo magazine. What more of a motive do you need? Oh, but the police chief just a few minutes ago in Minneapolis came back out to the podium to tell the world that we have identified no motive, that there is no motive with this guy. No motive? We've all seen that before. Are you out of your freaking mind? You have a picture of Jesus Christ on your wall? There's no motive? Are you kidding me? You're going to kill children written on, you're targeting,
Yeah, that was kind of the question I wanted to kind of lead into. It seems a lot of these mass shooters lately are somewhat trends. Actually, I looked it up, and I don't like to. Let me put it this way because people will take this the wrong way. All right, if I noticed a bunch of people committing mass shootings, and at least a number of them are Seventh-day Adventist, we will pause and say, "What's going on?" Right? If a bunch of them were Jewish, we will stop and say, "Why are they doing that?" You know what I'm saying? So when we see people commit suicide bombings, right? We don't want to use that word on YouTube, but we know there's some radical Islamic theories behind that, and people just points that out. But I don't understand when it comes to this side of the story. And again, we have to definitely be careful how we word this because we don't want to put everybody under the bus. But some of the shootings lately, some of the ones you see on the screen, these are just a few of them. The Colorado Springs shooter, the Denver shooter, the Arlington shooter, the Nashville shooter, Philadelphia shooter, all of them were trends. And the recent one we have is Minnesota shooter. Like, if all of them were Seventh-day Adventists, I will pause and say, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? I would ask that question. What is going on in Adventism that's causing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to hate all Adventists. You have to pause and say, there's a pattern. Now, we can ignore the pattern and act like it doesn't exist. But if, let's just say, the political left can fight against the political right, but nevertheless, people are losing their lives. But my thought is, what if all of these were Trump supporters? I wonder, would they speak about their identity? Will they say, hey, here, there are Trump supporters. Here's evidence for that and stuff like that. Because people are saying we can talk about the identity of the shooter. And I say, why not? If they were part of any other group, we will address their identity. We'll say, let's find out what's going on in those thinking, those society, those groups of people that is compelling them to do that. You have to get to the motive. If you want to get to the motive, you have to address ideology. To get to the ideology, you have to become part of the group and understand their mentality. Otherwise, you're not going to get to the root of the cause why this is happening. Never. Now, like James Milam says, we are living in dark times. The devil is behind the scenes. But some of this thing could be prevented. Some of it can be prevented. If we never talk about the reasons why it might be happening, if there is not a group mentality, a way of thinking that is compelling this, how are we ever going to get to solve any of this? You know, that's anyway, it stood out to me a few months ago. I began to notice this pattern and I said, there's something here. It's not like people are making noise over nothing. There is a pattern here among these trans individuals. They're supposed to be loving and kind, right? From what I hear, they're supposed to be kind and loving and cheerful people. But why do you keep shooting people?
Right.
You know,
it comes back to what I was saying before about the attacks on the ideologies. And, you know, Jesus talked about he who hates his brother has committed murder in his heart. And so just the fact that there's a hatred, there seems to be a rising hatred against Christians. And just the, you know what I mean? There's like opposing, there seems to be a war. There's a war going on and there's a battle. going on back and forth. It's bigger than what we see here. It's the bigger issue at hand is there's attack on ideologies. There's an attack on, you know what I mean? We're seeing it playing out, whether it's through hate, like when they say stuff, or when they act it out in violence. As James rightly said, there tends to be people are broken. People are broken, and they tend to do things that you ask the question, it just doesn't make sense. And as you said, Pastor James, you know, they seem to be people that's supposed to be happy, but we live in a sinful world, and we're seeing very clearly that we don't have God. Things like this take place.
Over the course of, you know, the last longer than that, we've seen the rise of the king of the south, right? Represented by pagan Egypt. This is a pagan world. What you're seeing here is our media and also this trans agenda, these people that they're mentally ill, clearly. These are extremes of the king of the south. They are tools of the king of the south to rise up. They were rising up. But now what this does, it creates a narrative where now this stuff, and this is why I think the other side allows it, because it creates a narrative so they can come down and crush it, because we know the king of the north is going to come crush the king of the south. I believe we're seeing that in process right now.
Yep.
Seeing the tide
Exactly what I see.
right now. The king of the north is coming, and it is. But they need these things. So that's why they allow it. They don't take the time to stop it because they need these narratives to fuel their own agenda.
Wow.
King of the North, King of the South. It's an attack on. It's an attack. This is what I see. The bigger picture. Yeah.
There's an ideological war happening here. And it's definitely biblical in nature. And I think also Second Timothy chapter 3 speaks about this. Notice also in the last days, perilous times will come, and men shall be lovers of themselves, haters, backbiters. You know, I think we've seen that. You know, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, right? So, yeah, definitely. But I think, just like you said, Pastor Milam, there's something prophetic about the nature of some of these events, because the powers that be are going to use this to their advantage as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you kind of have to create that boogeyman in a sense to have something to go against. And if you can go against it and take it out, that will only give you more prominence in the eyes of the world. You know, it's kind of I see it as what happened to the Berlin Wall when it fell. Like, you know, when John Paul II united with Ronald Reagan, so they took down the Berlin Wall, and then all of a sudden the Catholic Church shot into mainstream and become the most trusted bodies in the United States. But before that, in 1992, they weren't even accepted.
Right.
It's pretty amazing how that happened. So there's some elements of that I can see happening prophetically as well.
Yeah. Eventually, this is all going to go away, these trans shooters or whatever, but not until it's fueled enough their agenda there. They get what they want, the king of the north, the representatives of that. They'll take it out, but not yet. It's still
not yet.
That they're building up the narrative in the culture with the people. Look at this. This is a problem. This is a problem. And when it gets to a certain point, then they're gonna. Right now, the king of the south is in the beginning throes of the death of the crushing by the king of the north. We're watching it happen before our very eyes.
Yeah, Daniel 11. And yeah, exactly. So thank you. Exactly what I was trying to articulate. And not only that, that's when you'll see the Pope step in and say, we need to put in moral laws. And that's what we're seeing also in succession, attacks on the Sabbath, which we'll get into later on, of course. We're seeing it playing out, the ideologies, the attacks of King of the North, King of the South, going back and forth. But these are just little distractions. But the real issue is going to lead to the enforcing of the Sunday law.
We got to get back to God. We got to be a nation under God. We got to get back to God. Look at all these wickedness and the deaths and these wicked people killing people. Yeah.
And then something has to be done to fix it.
It's all there, man. The Bible laid it out for us.
Yeah, there's something in Daniel 8:23 says something that similar to that. It says in a latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full. That's interesting. What happens when the transgressors are come to the full? A king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. So you get this idea, right? Like, transgression are come to the full. We can't take it anymore. Our cup are full. We are overwhelmed with these wicked behaviors in our land. And then there goes a savior for us. It goes the savior. Now we have this front man, how superhero is gonna show up, how Superman is gonna come to the rescue and deliver our world and society from all these issues. I wonder who that Superman could be.
Yeah, you wonder. Huh? I think
And
Yes.
you notice like these trends and these shootings are targeting churches more than they ever done before. A lot of these shootings are now going after Christians, and that's not a funny thing. That's terrible. But nevertheless, we're seeing it. This could also be a prophetic movement in nature as well. It's hidden, at least in there.
The devil doesn't care. If
Mm.
we know the king of the south and king of the north, that's two sides of the same coin.
Mhm.
The devil controls that. So he don't care about deaths. He wants us to wipe each of it. He has no love for any human whatsoever. We are pawns in his game of destruction, so he can destroy as many people as possible, and he will use us either side of it. He don't care to destroy people. That's what's behind it. And it's sad because it's people losing their lives, but it's all part of the devil's game. He runs both sides of that.
It's all part of the game, man.
All part of the game. Yeah.
It's a shame. Yeah, my heart goes out to these families, and shame on the media for the way they're politicizing some of this stuff.
All of us. And I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity. We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place of love for our kids.
We're looking at it through the lens of scripture and prophecy. Well, a lot of them is looking at the left and the right, like to make it look like anytime something like this happen, it's political. There's part of it, but I would look at it like it's immoral, it's prophetic, it's wickedness, right? But also the left likes to look at it as if we have to protect these trends. They don't seem to care about the lives of these Christians. They're more careful about protecting the identity of the shooter. It's kind of weird to me. It's like, why is that a thing? Like, shouldn't you be more caring about the individuals who lost their lives? But it seems to be more caring about the fact the individual is trans, and we shouldn't be talking about that. Like, it doesn't matter what they are, but I just think we have to address the issue. Addressing the issue is not always take away the guns. I mean, you can take away all guns, people still gonna do bad things. You can go to Walmart today and grab a few items and start a bomb. It's so easy to do. You can get a recipe and do that online right now. So people who may be going after guns, I'm like, guns don't shoot people. People shoot people.
No.
Like if we don't get to the heart, we don't get to the ideology and the perception. I mean, you can take people's guns away, but taking the guns away now opens the door for another discussion on people's way of defending themselves. That's also a problem because there's other side of the story, and I'm not sure how much of you follow some of this. There's a lot more shootings happening because people who own guns stops it from getting worse. It's somewhere to the 60 something, over 70 different shootings, 70 something percent mass shootings had been stopped by a gun owner. So that's another thing people have to think about too. So if you say take away all guns, that also means you leave people openly vulnerable because the black market is still selling guns.
Yeah.
So there's a way to get to guns and still want to commit crimes. So the idea of just burning the guns, I'm just saying that's not the solution. It might be a solution, but it's not the solution. That's not what you're targeting.
Yeah. It's not. Think about it. Only the people that are going to give up their guns are honest people. Criminals aren't going to give up their guns. You can't take them away from them. There's a black market for that.
Yeah.
No, so then what you're going to do is you're going to leave all the honest people in their homes vulnerable. The criminals come, well, we know they don't have guns. Let's go take what we want. But right now that they have guns, they have to question themselves before they go up to the house. Is that homeowner armed or not?
It's true.
And that's enough to keep some of them like, I'm not going to test it, right?
That is true. And I know in the Adventist world that we don't like to think that way, but I do believe in self-defense.
Yeah.
Some people don't believe that, and that's okay. We don't make that a theology. You're not going to catch me preaching it. but I do believe you need to protect your families. From what-
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, you have biblical backup for that in Exodus.
Okay.
It says when the thief breaks into your home and you shed his blood, and I'm just paraphrasing, his blood is not on your hands. It's straight up biblical in Exodus. You have the right in your home. You don't go out to kill people. That's murder. But if someone comes in to murder you, you have a right to protect your family. It's right there in Exodus, and nowhere in the Bible says it changed.
Right.
I'm gonna find that verse real quick.
Yeah, Exodus 2. You find that. I don't look at it enough. I don't have it memorized, but it's there. But look it up so people can.
Just found it too. Yeah, that's perfect. So if a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. Yeah. Yeah, that to me is Bible.
Yeah.
That to me is Bible. You don't have to advocate for violence, but I believe
No.
it's yeah.
That's not what we're doing here. But common sense. God is a God of sense, logic, wisdom.
Yeah.
Mhm.